Welcome to another episode of Befuddled and Confused. Please like, subscribe, and share this message so we get more viewers. And please give us some comments so we know what the hell we need to do to change things and make it better. Sorry we haven't been on for a few weeks. We had Mother's Day, we had a few other things. Lizzie had surgery, so you can sort of see it down there, her hand. She's been slapping in too many idiots with it, so
Not enough.
not enough. So this week it's Lizzie's topic. So what are we talking about? And kick it off.
What did we say we were talking about? About us that we might be preparing to go to war with China.
Yeah. So interesting enough. Let's go through some facts that you found because like we talk about being a Republican and Democrat. What did you find out about Obama in China?
Well, because I was reading, surfing the web, and most of what I read was that, all this started happening with China, under Trump, because he started limiting access to, certain things with China, and he started blacklisting whatever companies, But, he limited access to like U.S. Technology companies. But then I actually read that the relationship with China started to deteriorate under Obama in 2013.
So why did it start deteriorating?
He started to militarize the South China Sea.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so not only did Obama start to militarize the South China Sea, what also happened under Obama was he started, like all our factories' jobs started going overseas. So it started making it easier for jobs to go overseas to China. And like with the whole China thing, so this isn't, let me get this out of the way. This isn't Asian hate thing. There are many great Chinese people. It's the Chinese government we're talking about, which is completely different than the people. And so what happened was like we would like send all of our stuff over there, and they get the intellectual properties of our stuff. That's the only way we could manufacture over there, and Obama okayed it. And then what happened under Trump, from what I understand, is we started putting tariffs because like we don't want to give away our intellectual properties, and China didn't like that. And so there became tension between China and America. And you could see how much power China has over America, because what happened under Trump and when Hong Kong started having riots and the NBA. Do you know that whole kerfuffle?
No.
So it was all about freeing Hong Kong, because it's supposed to be, I believe it's like one country, two rulers or something like that, where we're like Hong Kong is supposed to be its own free and independent country, although it's part of China, so like China's not supposed to have rule over them. And then China came in and tried to take rule over them, and like all the NBA players, like some of them actually spoke up. And then as soon as any of the NBA players spoke up, all of a sudden China's like, well, we don't want the NBA over here. And the NBA bowed down and says, oh no, we're sorry. And so because they didn't want to lose the billions and billions of dollars that go over to China.
Yeah.
Like China holds a lot of our debt. And that's a dangerous spot to be in, because they sell our debt for cheap. Like we could like have a financial collapse. And these are things that like I've heard, and like please correct me if I'm wrong on any of these things, or if you find out anything, Liz. However, like with the whole China situation, I with this whole George Floyd that came out, you could put things on the back of your NBA jersey, but the only thing you could not put on the back of your jersey was "Free Hong Kong."
Oh, wow.
Because it went against China. Do you know who John Cena is?
Yes.
Do you know what happened with John Cena?
No.
So a few weeks ago, the Fast and Furious, or F9 or whatever you want to call it, came out. It made like $180 million the 1st weekend, and like John Cena goes on something, and he's like, "Yeah, I want to thank the country of Taiwan for being the first people," or he mentioned something about Taiwan being the first country to be able to see F9. Ooh, big mistake.
Wow.
Like the next day, he went on Twitter in Mandarin and saying, not necessarily apologizing, but I taking back calling Taiwan a country because China believes that it owns Taiwan.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like you can't go against China because like what, and the reason he did it, and people don't understand, is everyone bows down to the dollar because like I think it made like $180 million F9, and $130 million of that came from China.
Oh wow.
So if you piss off China, you lose $130 million. So of course John Cena is gonna like bow down and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I want my money," you know.
Yeah.
Everything comes down to the dollar. And so I something that's interesting to me is like I looked up and this is on Forbes and on CNN, is we pulled out all of our bomber jets from Guam, right? And like Guam is supposed to be one of those places where it's easy for us to access China in case we go to war or the Pacific. Do you know why we pulled out all of our bombers?
No.
China introduced the Guam killer missile.
Ooh. Well, they're still building missiles constantly.
Right.
You know.
Right. And what happened now with Fauci?
With Fauci?
Yeah, in China. China says that if the U.S. continues to look into the lab leak theory, they are going to increase their nuclear weapons.
Why though? Because they don't want us
They
to
don't
investigate.
want. They don't want us to investigate. Like how screwed up is that? And like China, everyone's scared of China and saying like they don't want to go to war with China, all this, and yes, it's a big country. However, where do they get the coal from? They get all their coal from Australia. Where do they get all their dairy from?
Probably over here too, or
They get
somewhere.
it from New Zealand. Like they're not an independent country. Like they're dependent on us. You know, not on us, but on other countries.
Yeah.
And like they have India right there that'll go against them. I think Russia might back them. But like this whole war thing is like becoming more real every day. Like we pull out our bombers. Like we start like strategizing where we put all our fighter jets. The whole Fauci thing and them saying, "Oh yeah, well we're going to build up our nuclear weapons if you continue to look down this, but yet you're not going to give us the information of where this lab leak or where the coronavirus." I don't want to say lab leak because you kicked off YouTube even though we only have 2 followers, whatever. But you can't even say that, man. So what other information?
Well, no, I was just like I looked up. I didn't find too much on like you did us pulling whatever jets out, but I do know that like China has the strongest military in the world.
Right.
I read that. I was like, oh wow.
No.
You know. So.
Sorry, that's my cat getting fed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too because I thought we had the biggest military.
No.
And like
we're this number 2.
we're number 2.
We're number 2.
And like if we were to go into war in the Pacific, like I think like I said, China had like 540 vessels, and we only had like 234 vessels. Like China outnumbers us.
Yeah, I do know that the U.S. has about 800 different military bases around the world.
Right.
They're like spread out like that way. If we do go to war, like they have, you know, if China starts shooting missiles, there's a way to intercept them from. But no one knows exactly which ones, you know, have what on them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that I found. Let me go to this because like I was surprised when I was reading all these pathways that we have.
Yeah.
U.S. fighters. Maybe it's not on here. So we have.
Oh, that looks like the same place I went to.
Yeah. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases in Alaska. 2 of them are active, operating and 3 of them are operating locations. We have 2 in South Korea, which are active. We have 1 in Hawaii, which is active. We have 2 in Guam. 1's active. 1's divert airfield. We have the 2 in the North Marine, I don't know how to say it, some islands. We have 4 in Japan, 2 in the Philippines, 3 in Palau, 1 in the Marshall Islands, 1 in the Confederate States of Micronesia, 1 in Australia, 1 in America Samoa, and 1 in the United Kingdom.
So that doesn't even include all the different ones they have in the U.S. though.
Yeah, that's not even the U.S.
Yeah.
What about Australia? Because Australia is right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it did say South Korea, right? Yeah, South Korea. So we have bases all over to protect us.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the whole, I guess you would say like the Iron Dome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if China tries to come at us, and that's the scary thing is like they don't have missiles. I don't believe, from my understanding, is they don't have missiles that can reach the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd have to go to war at sea,
Mm-hmm.
and like with them outnumbering us, like what would happen?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It would be, very big.
Right. And then with this whole G7 that just happened, because they talked about China, they talked about climate change, which is stupid. I'll keep that under my breath. But they talked about China, and like what did they come up with? Like are we still gonna bow down to China? You know, and and like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like going off on a little bird walk, like I started investing in stocks, right? And like one of the stocks that I'm watching that I want to jump into, like it's doing really well. It's climbing, and then I did some more research. It is a property. It has to do with Chinese buying property in the United States.
Ooh.
Yeah, like they're putting all they're buying up our property.
Oh, they've been doing that though for ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what happened in the 70s, I think it was Biden. Was it Biden? One of them said that we had to or maybe the 80s, I forget, but like China was suffering at one point, and it was our government that tried to help out China and make them a democracy, and like that's why they're the superpower. Like we're just killing ourselves. So if we don't stand up to, like if we're not afraid to, we need to quit being afraid of losing money. Like okay, John Cena, like you only make 50 million instead of freaking 180 million. Like what do you do? Like you're still a millionaire. Like sorry NBA, you're gonna lose out on some profits. Like
yeah,
it's the National Basketball Association, not the World Basketball Association. Like screw China, you know. Same thing with like the football or like any other sport that we do that has to do with China. Like we just need to say, you know what, screw you.
Yeah.
And not screw the Chinese people. It's not about, and I need to make that very clear because like people mistake that. Like it's not the Chinese people, it's the government. And that goes into my work because like I try and sell product. First thing the Chinese people ask, is it made in China? If it is, I don't want it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because if you buy an American-made product in China, it shows that you have more wealth because of the tariffs and everything. And I that's my understanding. I could be wrong. Like I've never been to China. I'm white. Whatever. But my understanding is like the Chinese people want to buy American-made product to show their wealth, and because they also know Chinese products are made cheaply.
Yeah.
Dealing with lumber liquidators, you know, like have you ever heard of lumber liquidators?
I think I have.
So there was an issue back in the day, and it had to do with the formaldehyde that they put in it because they go around all these little they try and jump over the law or go around the law instead of like following the law. So I don't know. So yeah, you think we're going to go to war with China?
Well, I hope not. I hope it's avoided, because is our military really prepared? Will they have to draft people? And then if they have to draft, who are they going to draft? The millennials that,
So that's scary.
feel entitled?
Have you seen those new commercials for our military?
No.
Oh my gosh, they're ridiculous. Like it talks about like hi, I'm bi and I got into the CIA. I had 2 mothers, and it's like, what does that have to do with our military? It has nothing to do with our military.
Exactly.
I cool, you're bi. Cool, you have 2 mothers, but like, can you fight?
Yeah.
Like that's all I give a crap about.
The thing is, do they want to?
No.
Yeah. That's the thing. Do they want to? It's. I think you know, now our military's okay, but in 20 years,
We're gonna have nobody for the military.
yeah, they're gonna have to actually draft the older people.
So
And they're slow. They're gonna be slower than the younger ones, you know.
and like it just got shot down because only men can be drafted. Women still can't be drafted, even though women want equal rights. They only want equal rights up to a certain point, and then it's like, oh, I want equal rights, but not that. Like,
Yeah.
like oh, well, I can want equal rights, but you still pay for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I want equal rights, but you still go to war, not me.
Yeah.
Like, I want equal rights, but you gotta hold open the door for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you want equal rights? I don't know. More tangents.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next year or two because like our military is going down. Like I thought we had the strongest military, but after doing this research for this, like coming to find out, China has a bigger military than us.
Mm-hmm.
They have more people than us.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like they are a they're nationalists.
Mm-hmm.
And we said Trump was a nationalist, and that was bad. But if he was an actual nationalist and cared about our country, then we would have a bigger military.
Yeah.
So who was the last president that didn't go to war?
That didn't go to war?
Oh.
Was it before Bush?
Trump.
Oh wow. Okay.
Who was that was sort of like but
a
who,
trick question.
it was, but before Trump, who was the last president that didn't go to war?
I don't know.
Obama had Somalia.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know
Bush
Bill Obama
had
did, and I
Iraq
know
War.
Bush before him was
Yeah.
at war too.
Yeah, Iraq.
Mhm.
Clinton had a war. Bush Sr. had a war. Reagan had a war.
Mm-hmm.
Like every president goes to war. Trump's the first president to not go to war.
Interesting.
Go figure.
Right?
Calling what's his name? Little Missile Man from North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
We hated his speech, but we didn't go to war.
Yeah.
We hated his speech, but we had the lowest Mexican, Latino, Black unemployment until COVID. We hated his speech, but he did good for our country. We love Joe Biden as a person, but what has he done?
I don't know. I still refuse to watch the news.
So I understand that, right? And like I go back to Denzel Washington.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not watch the news, you're uninformed.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch the news, you're misinformed.
Yeah.
Because like it's all lies. Doesn't matter if you're watching Fox or CNN or anything. And like some of these sources that I got for us going to war were from CNN, right? And like I am not a leftist person,
Mm-hmm.
so I went to leftist sources to see like if what I heard was true. If what I heard from the right wing media was true, you know,
Mhm.
like you got to cross over and find out what the truth is.
Yeah.
So how do you know what's going on in the world then if you don't watch the news?
Well, every now and then I'll scroll through, my news feed, on my phone.
On social media?
No.
Oh,
No,
I was like,
No, on my phone, like, if I swipe to the right enough, then all the news pops up
Okay.
and I'll Google it. But I'll go to different sources because, like I told you, like, I think I did 3 or 4 sources that told me about, the military, whatever, or little thing with China. And then finally I got something that said that actually it happened under Obama.
Right.
So, those 3 or 4 didn't say anything about Obama, but,
Right.
So I like to read more than one because,
And you gotta read different sources.
exactly.
Because I listened to this guy, Tim Pool, and he actually has this tracker, and like he gets his sources from different places, and now he has this tracker, and it tells him, like, when we had our cyber attack on our meat industry, like 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
he went to the source and he found out like 75% of the media out there was right-wing media. So that means like if you're a leftist, you probably didn't hear it. You know, like he has this tracker finding out like when certain things happen, like do the right report on it or do the left report on it, and how much. You know, like the Lafayette Square, like we were talking about before. Like they found out like the Lafayette Square when Trump held up his Bible, 3 days prior, they already planned to clear out that area. Trump just happened to do that because the night before the church got burnt down.
Yeah.
And so, like the media was telling us back then how he did it for a photo op.
Mm-hmm.
But then all this news came in just like a few weeks ago, and only the right wing media reported the truth.
Yeah.
But it came from the Democrats. The Democrats investigated it,
Mm-hmm.
and the right wing reported on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So I think that's a good topic for today. I do have a question for you, so we might be able to go into next week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is your stance on systemic racism? Do you believe it exists or doesn't exist?
I don't know. It may or may not. I think it just depends on the circumstances.
I don't believe it exists.
Mm-hmm.
So I challenge you to find every reason by
Mm-hmm.
next week why people say it exists.
Okay.
Because I
Sounds
have
good.
one clear and concise reason
Mm-hmm.
why it doesn't exist.
Okay.
And we'll go from there. So please like, subscribe, and share. That way we can figure out what to do. I know we'll be getting better equipment hopefully soon, so you can hear us better. That's one comment I've heard. So yeah, please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and tell us what a wonderful job we did.
Okay.